There's a very important missing piece that empaths and really sensitive people need to deeply understand in order to make their lives much easier. So if this is you, you're definitely going to want to watch this video because I'm going to be covering exactly what this is. It's going to help you a lot. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started for today, I just want to let you know I have a free book list in the description below. So if you're looking for some really good books to help you on your healing and awakening journey, I highly recommend it. It's completely free. You can just, click and download it, etc. Okay, so if you're an empath, if you're a HSP, life can be kind of difficult. This is how it's been for my entire life. It got a lot worse when I started waking up spiritually because my sensitivity increased in ways. But as a child, life was basically excruciating. I don't really know how else to say it. That's why I became a heroin addict, because it was the only thing that kind of turned down everything. Okay? Now, as empaths, as highly sensitive people, as people going through awakening journeys, I want to, before I get into the rest of this video, make something very clear. I am in no way negating how important it is and how much change can occur from doing things like learning to set boundaries, clearing your childhood traumas, stop feeling responsible for everybody else and their energy, because all these things cause us to just take in everything around us. Our beliefs are an enormous part of why we're bogged down by the world that we live in, people's moods, people's attitudes, the energy in the room. There is so much that we can do to empower ourselves and shift out of these kind of debilitating states. However, there's something else you need to know. So recently, I was watching this rabbi. He's actually a very spiritual rabbi. My friend sent me one of his Instagram posts, and it really struck a chord with me. And what he was talking about was, he first off, he was talking about how when he was a kid, like if somebody, because he was extremely sensitive, if he was a kid and someone was breathing too loud, sitting across like the dinner table, he would start screaming. And I was like, how when someone describes you and it's something you felt like horribly guilty and bad about and made a judgment about yourself that you're like horrible or evil or wrong, and you see it in someone else and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, okay, it's not just me, there's something else going on here. I had that aha moment when I heard him say that, because that's how I was. I was a little kid, like, if people breathed too loud, if they made the wrong noise, if they made the wrong face, there was something about whatever energy they had, I could feel so intensely, I'd just get pissed and want to start like fighting them. Okay. But what he went on to say was, for some souls, for some really sensitive souls, existence itself can just be painful. That the act of embodiment can just be painful. Now, this doesn't mean that it's always painful or that you want to avoid embodiment, because I want to make that very clear. The more you embody, the better it gets. We tend to think it's the opposite. It's not, especially now. But what this implies and what he was talking about was that, to an extent, if you're really sensitive and you're really empathic, the piece that you may need is a simple acceptance of the fact that this is kind of how it is. Now, like I said at the beginning, there are many things you can do to shift this and become more empowered. But acceptance is actually an enormous part of that. And I'm going to get into why right now. The biggest issue, the most painful thing, the biggest source of any of our suffering, I would suggest, is the pressure that we put on ourselves. It's the love or the unconditional love that we unintentionally or sometimes intentionally withhold from ourselves because we believe we're bad, there's something wrong with us, we're different. And when we do that, the response is naturally to try to change. And as the Buddhists will tell you, all suffering essentially comes from arguing with reality. And the irony of changing is that you can't change anything until you accept it. And when you accept it, it automatically starts to change. But also, we live in a world where it's not sunshine and rainbows all the time. Now, what happens when we don't accept this about ourselves, if it's something that we have? Well, we tend to try to force. This is how I've spent my whole life, constantly trying to force myself from an underlying belief that I'm not good enough or I'm weak. You know, it's hard enough being, you know, men, women, gender, whatever, none of it matters, but we all have our differentiations and different experiences based on various traits that we have, okay? Being extremely sensitive as a male, as a straight male, especially in America, was really hard. It's been really hard. It's something I always felt I had to hide. I never felt like I fit in. I never felt like I fit in with the men. I never felt like I could manifest a mate because I'm too sensitive, even though I'm also very strong. This has been something I've struggled with. And so because of that, I've tried to force myself to be extra strong. And what that would manifest as is staying in situations that were not even in alignment for me. Simply because I couldn't realize this is just not in alignment for you, whether you're sensitive or not, because I had that underlying belief that I had to be able to take fucking everything I could. Jobs that were out of sync, energy environments that were out of sync. Believing that if I were a true master, I could be in any environment whatsoever and feel nothing but bliss. Now, maybe some people can pull that off, but also maybe not, because maybe you're not even supposed to, because the environment not feeling right is a sign that there's someone better for you to go. And if you didn't feel that resistance, you'd never go there. So no matter how much you master anything, you're never going to get to the point where you're in total bliss in any environment. The other thing he was talking about was that though sometimes for some souls there is just this pain, when you realize there's a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose to your being here, that pain can become tolerable. And again, that doesn't mean it's painful all the time. When you're super sensitive, like, the things that are really good are amazing. And it can get better, and it does get better and better and better and better. But to an extent, there may always be some level of existential difficulty. And accepting this allows you to navigate it. Finding the meaning, finding the purpose in it allows you to navigate it. Finding the meaning and finding the purpose allows you to tolerate that pain. Because what happens when really sensitive, empathic people don't accept it? Because we're so sensitive, we often try to get to the point where there's no fear anymore, there's no pain before we do anything, which holds everybody back. We try to escape, self-medicate, whatever. We avoid life. And therefore, if you're doing this, you're avoiding your gifts, which also come from your sensitivity and your empathicness. I think sensitivity is an aspect of intensity. Like, if you're very intensely something, you're also very sensitive, generally. And so whatever you do, it's going to have that level of sensitivity and intensity in it, including what you have to offer the world. I mean, the greatest artistic and creative inventions and gifts tend to come from extremely sensitive people. It's just the price that you pay, but you have to be willing to pay it. So If you're one of these people, like I am, learn how to set boundaries, clear your childhood trauma, learn how to navigate your energy field, learn how to individuate. Really important. We are all one and we're also our own individuated selves, but also understand that the pain is there for a reason and it may just be something to deal with. And one of the most important things that you can learn is how to see the beauty in the pain, because if you're sensitive, you're highly sensitive to beauty and therefore highly sensitive to situations that are not particularly beautiful. And if you dissociate too much, you'll avoid completely. When you find the beauty in the pain, that's where your creative genius comes from. And you get there through acceptance and through embracing your emotions, through understanding that you will have ups and downs, you will have these lows, and you don't have to push yourself out of them. Just know that if you're in them, feel it as much as you can. Seek to find the lessons, seek to find the gifts, seek to find how it's beautiful, and you will be reborn anew with something brilliant to offer. But again, that offering will cost you the discomfort of being human. It's not so much that existence is painful, it's more that human existence is painful. And also, the good news is, as more and more of us do this, and the planet continues to rise in frequency, and the collective gets better and worse, we will navigate and align with timelines where more and more of the energy is conducive to healing and in a higher vibrational state. And things will get better and easier, but you can't get there by skipping into it and avoiding. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you have any comments, revelations, breakthroughs. I also have a free energy clearing if you want to download that. It's in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate everybody who watches my videos. Other than that, I look forward to next time, and bye-bye.